Angel City. Let's talk about them now, because this is a side in just their third year of existence. They made it to their postseason, their first postseason. They finished fifth. Unfortunately, they did get knocked out of the playoffs in that first round against Seattle. That was a roller coaster of a ride last year for Angel City. They had Freya Coombe. They lost Freya Coombe as the head coach. Becky Tweed stepped in as the interim head coach. She took them on an incredible run to end the NWSL season and push them into the playoffs. And now Becky Tweed has been named the official head coach of Angel City, and she will lead this team under her first real head coaching stint in this league. Unfortunately, June Endo out this year with an ACL injury for Angel City. That is a huge, huge loss in the midfield, in the front line, frankly, in the back line as well, Sandra. But with Angel City, they also signed some young players. Alyssa Thompson's sister and Giselle Thompson has signed. The Thompson sisters are going to high school or graduating high school with Angel City again this year.
I love it. Here for it. I think I mentioned a little bit earlier when we were talking about Gotham about maybe having a little bit of a long-term vision here, and I think Angel City might have them checkmate on that, just because of all of the young players that they have acquired along the way. They're definitely playing the long game here, but I think with the season that they're coming off of, there's a little bit of that expectation that's placed upon a club that makes their first ever postseason appearance, and especially if it's one of these newer clubs that just entered the league. How do they maintain the level of success that they have now achieved? I gotta say though, I don't know if I am as high on this team as I once was before the June Endo ACL injury. It's not about one player, but my God, in their short history, June Endo. Mm-hmm. I just this player has become that type of player in such a short time for Angel City. So I think it's a massive blow to not have her as part of this campaign in the march back to the postseason and potentially a higher seed within that postseason. That's not to say they didn't make other good moves, but these moves also came when we thought that the team was going to maybe look or roll out a certain kind of way. So getting Rocky Rodriguez, I think was a massive pickup for them. I think this is a team that we've been saying it, I think these last two seasons, has been a midfielder or two away from kind of having the complete package. And Rocky Rodriguez is a player that can help in that capacity. And I think the acquisition of Messiah Bright was big for this team. I think it maybe even had some folks kind of scratching their heads. Well, like why would Orlando do that, or why this, why that? But everything that was explained around it was that it was a mutual move for the player. So partial player request, partial, honoring players' wishes. So now Messiah Bright is in Angel City, and this is a team that wants to again continue to build off of that success that they obtained last year. How is a player going into their second year as a professional gonna kind of take on those pressures, right? And kind of utilize that as motivation and kind of to have a successful sophomore season. I hope it is a move that ends up working out both for player and for club, because Becky Tweed is going to get an entire year. She's gotten now an entire off season, a preseason, and now we'll have an entire season to look ahead to build with this team. Is there going to be that same lightning in a bottle that was captured when she kind of came in the mix in the middle of the season? It's a much different grind when you're chipping away at a long 26 game season versus just asking a team to focus on a 12-week stretch. So I'm curious to see how it all play out.
And it's very different to ask a team to kind of rally around a coach that's coming in and hoping to rejuvenate something when you have 2 months left of a season and your interim is there, and you kind of have something to fight for and play for because things are going to be different. It's definitely a different beast. We talked about Savannah McCaskill with San Diego, but and how much of a gain she was for the Wave, Darian. How much of a loss is Savannah McCaskill in Angel City's midfield?
Yeah, she's a big loss. We mentioned before, she's a gritty player. She as technical and savvy on the ball as she is, and leader she is. She's also super aggressive. She's a player you don't want to go into tackles against. She covers a lot of ground in games. It's a really big loss, but I do think the acquisition of Rocky Rodriguez is a little bit like for them. Maybe not as a big of a hitter as Savannah McCaskill is, but clean on the ball, likes to go forward. I hope she plays higher on the pitch for Angel City. I think she thrives there. I think she's really effective there. She's hyper technical on the ball. I'm excited to see how she fits in. And you're right, with Becky Tweed getting a full year with them, it is a different type of grind. But I think with that 12 weeks that she was with them and that push, that mentality and buy-in you get from your players is totally different than if she had to try to create that from the start of season.
Yeah.
So I actually think it's going to be really positive going into this a full year with a team where now she's able to show some sort of culture and identity that she wants from those weeks that she was with them last year to go into now. It's just going to be an extra edge that maybe she wouldn't have had previously as she just come into a head coaching job now. So I think having that, and you have big players, Sid LaRue, who's a big infectious personality on the team, who's bought in and likes her. It's really good way to start the season, and I think they're going to have a good year. It's going to be interesting to see how they make up for, you're right, Janendo not being in that team for a while. It's a huge loss. I don't know. I'm interested to see how they make up for that. But I'm also, you're right, you gave Messiah Bright a shout. If you're a player and you want to leave and you go somewhere that it actually works out that you get to go where you want, it's so good for your confidence and mentality to start a season. And the way she ended with Orlando last year, scoring so many goals, I think is going to be a great way to start with Angel City. But she also has, I think, a team, maybe a fully fledged team around her that she didn't have in Orlando, where more of a clear style of play than she previously had. So I think we're going to see more goals from her. I hope she gets a lot of playing time. That front line could also be scary. Alyssa Thompson, Sid LaRue, Messiah Bright. Imagine that starting off the season. But I think that would be a good shout.
Yeah, I think the front line for sure is going to be scary for them with Sydney LaRue up there, and the Alyssa Thompson, who is coming off a bit of a knock. That's reportedly why we didn't see her with the United States at the Gold Cup. So it just kind of staying safe and staying healthy there at Angel City. But we do get to see them opening weekend on Sunday, March 17th. They'll take on new expansion side Bay FC at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time in LA. It will be the host of that match for Angel City. So excited to see them and kind of how Becky Tweed can ultimately dig her teeth into this side right from the jump, if they can be a side that makes teams fearful, because I don't think they were until the very end of last year. It wasn't a group that was like, we are a little bit nervous to play against Angel City. What are we going to get from them? They had a lot of inconsistencies throughout 2023. Teams were mostly afraid to play in LA, knowing what the stadium and the fans were going to bring, but not necessarily scared. They were just excited, knowing that they were going to get a huge crowd to kind of come out and cheer for women's football. I want Angel City to be a team that is feared, relatively speaking, this year. And it's tough for other teams to kind of go against them and see how they're going to play, whether it's going to be really consistent or if they're just going to be such a threat going forward. We'll see from Becky Tweed opening weekend on Sunday.